I just want to touch real quickly on checking end plate, crankshaft end plate, thrust clearance. I've just laid our crank in the block with a couple of bearings in the center bearing and standard thrust washers. Torque caps up, and I'm checking the thrust, and assuming that comes, we've got 2 to 3. Perfect. I would use 2 as a minimum. Perfect, but not so fast. I didn't actually seat the thrust cap correctly, and that's the result from doing that. I just laid the cap in there, torqued it up, done. Well, I'll show you the correct procedure for that and the difference you're going to get. You need to put the cap, center cap in, and just real lightly, not even, just barely finger tight, and take your dead blow hammer if you have one, or a piece of wood with a big hammer. Just give the crank a few taps to the rear, and then from the rear forward. What that's going to do, it's going to align the thrust washers on the back side of the crankshaft, because that's where the wear is. When you push your foot in the clutch, it's the rears. The fronts are just placeholders. They don't do anything. So I'm going to torque this cap up now. By the way, never use your torque wrench to loosen the bolt. Now let's look at the end plate. What's that? About 6? About 6 thou. So we've gained 3 thou just by installing the cap correctly. Now the reason we have 6 thou is because this crank had some wear on the thrust surface. So I had to actually dress the side of the thrust to get it to clean. On the back side, front's fine because there's nothing happens on the front. So I had to actually grind 2 or 3 thou off of that surface. I have standard thrust washers in here right now that we got from Moss. There was an issue with thrust washers recently. They were not standard size, they were too big, but these were perfect. They're 92 thou is the correct thickness, and these are actually just right. I have a set of 5 thou on the shelf, 5 thou over thrust. If I were to put a 5 thou in there, I'd probably have a thousandths. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to surface grind a thou off of those thrust washers, install them in the motor, and see what that gives us for clearance. I'll do that in the next video.